Hi, welcome. My name is Yeli, and today I am going to be talking about something that happened to me yesterday in the hopes that it helps you guys. So if you're looking for a Freestyle Libre trial, like a sensor, and you can get that at, you can get like a voucher for it on the Freestyle Libre Freestyle Libre abbott.us-en/home.html. I'll write that down, don't worry, in the description box below. So I went to get mine. Let me just tell you the story and then I'll let you guys know how to apply for one if you don't know how to. I went to get mine yesterday, and the first thing is that you need your doctor to prescribe it for you. So she did, but of course, maybe the prescription was twice a month because it comes, it lasts only 14 days, and at the 14 days exact, it'll expire. So not 1 minute past, it'll expire. So you'll always have a little bit of a gap in between readings because by the time you take one off, you put the other one on, and it goes through the process of matching and registering. You will have sometimes like a gap in the readings. But back to the story. So I asked my doctor to prescribe it, and the prescription goes to Walgreens, and the person that took care of me had put it through insurance, but again, like, they had put 2 in the prescription, not 1 box. And I give them the coupon. I don't know how many there are in the bag, right? Because I never got to touch the bag. But the coupon clearly states for the pharmacy personnel to read, and it says process without any insurance. So they're the ones that are acting as an insurance company, and only 1 sensor. But we all know that people don't read. So anyway, he can't put it through. So he can't put it through. He goes and asks the pharmacist, who didn't really help him that well because she just told him what to do, and he had to go to her 5 times, and she kept on telling him what to do. So even though she's seeing that he's not getting anywhere with this, nobody's taking the time to read the instructions. And I asked him, but they were like, yes, 1. But of course, 1 prescription. They're not saying there's 2 sensors inside the bag. I'm not looking inside the bag. I don't know what's inside the bag. So anyway, I call the Abbott helpline, the Freestyle Libre helpline, and they're very, very good, very nice. The lady was super wonderful. And she said it's fine, it happens a lot. The first thing, oh, and there's another thing, like on the pharmacy thing, it says, pharmacists, if you have any questions, call this number. But they didn't want to call the number, right? They were like, just, nope, this is not going through. And I'm like, it has to go through because I followed all the steps, so why wouldn't it? Anyway, I call her and I'm like, help me figure this out. So what she tells me is that it happens a lot, and that sometimes what the pharmacies are doing is that they're putting it through as a copay with insurance, like to cover your copay. So she said, make sure they're not doing that. So I go back to the guy, and by this time he has a big line, but he does not have a big line because of me anymore. He has a big line because the other person that was helping left, right? So anyway, I go back and tell him, and he's like, okay, let me check. So he goes back again. And up until that point, he was a little bit annoyed with me, which is really not my fault, but he was a little bit annoyed with me, but he was still doing it, right? So the lady on the phone said, you want me to call them? And I said, yes. So he gives me the phone number, and she says, and let me put you on hold while I investigate a little bit. So she was super nice. She went to her tech team to figure out why it was not going through. So what they were able to figure out is that they were putting it for 2 sensors, and the voucher is just for 1 free trial. So of course it was not going through because it just had to be 1. Oh, but when she told me to ask him, we repeated, it has to be only 1 sensor, and this has to be the only insurance. And he was like, yes. So he didn't even bother to check that there were 2 sensors in there either. Anyway, I don't know what he tells the pharmacist, but we're still in that back and forth, right? So like I told you, he puts it through, it doesn't go through. and she goes and checks with her team. Her team says 2 sensors. By this point, this guy was annoyed with me. And he's like, well, get in the back of the line because I have to take everybody else. And I said, but I'm sorry, I've been here for 45 minutes trying to wait for you guys to process this. So I don't think it's fair that I go back to the back of the line, right? I mean, he has a big line, but I understand that they want to get people flowing, but he has the pharmacist there. She can come and help, and or they can call for help like they did the other time. So like I wasn't happy that he said that to me, and I just, in a very nice way, I just said, well, I don't think that's fair because I've been here waiting for this for 45 minutes, and I would really like to take this one with me because I need to. I don't know if this other one is going to come out. I need to bring this one with me. I don't know if I go into hypoglycemia, and that could be life-threatening, right? So I'm being nice, even though I'm really, at this point, exercising a lot of patience and seeing how this poor guy is frustrated. The pharmacist is not helping him. And I'm here thinking, oh my gosh, this is a lot. But anyway, so you guys do not have to go through that. I am telling you my story. So you have to tell them to make sure that it's just 1 sensor in the box because the prescription might be for 2 a month, and to do it without any type of insurance, like if they were the only insurance. So after I tell him that, he goes to the pharmacist, who at that point, after 55 minutes of me waiting, because he took 3 people before going to the pharmacist. Anyway, so long story short, the pharmacy, he finally goes to the pharmacist, and she takes care of me. And while she's taking care of me, she gets the call from the lady from Abbott, telling her that how they have to process it. But by then she had realized that because I repeated again, it has to be just 1 sensor. So what I'm saying is, you don't have to be in line for an hour at the pharmacy to get your free trial, right? I understand that sometimes they're overworked, they don't have enough personnel, and they might need their jobs, but I also feel that it's like a catch-22 because I don't think anybody has to be in a pharmacy for a full hour just to get one of these things when the prescription was even ready for pickup and everything, right? Like I've bought with coupons at pharmacies before, and it's just been a matter of 10 minutes. And sometimes they've told me, we have to process this again. Can you sit and wait for 10-15 minutes? And I've been like, okay, I understand. That can happen, but like an hour is a little bit too much. So anyway, just so that you guys don't have to wait an hour, you know now that it just covers 1 sensor. So make sure that there's not 2 sensors in the bag, okay? Now, how do you get this? You go to the Freestyle Libre, and I think what I wrote down was freestylelibre2.com, and the Abbott webpage will pop up, and the webpage has, usually it has some pink warnings on the top for people who have sensors if they found that there's something that people need to be aware of. So you'll see that, and then there's like, you know, some images like manage your diabetes with more confidence. If you keep scrolling down just a little bit, you will see that there's something that says that my freestyle program, start your diabetes journey with confidence. So then there's a blue button down there that says start your free trial. When you click on that button, it'll ask you some questions, and it'll let you so it says let's get started, right? So it asks you if it's for yourself, someone else, your name, last name, email address, date of birth, gender, all that stuff, contact information. And when you sign up, you get an email, and you also see it in the web page that you get the coupon that has a little card, which is kind of like an insurance, a full insurance card, but that's how they're gonna process it at the pharmacy to cover it all. And it has some instructions. It feels to me that the only qualification that you need to meet is that your doctor prescribes it for you. So if that's the case, this is just something that you have to check in with your doctor that it's something they can prescribe for you. So if they prescribe it for you, they will give you that free trial, which I think is awesome. Like in my case, I'm totally qualified for it because I do have diabetes. So and I was not very well measuring with a finger prick, but now that I'm on Mounjaro, it's not only it's like a health safety issue for me. Having one and not having one could be devastating if I go into a hypoglycemic episode. And believe me, yesterday I felt that I had to come back home with one, and I couldn't just wait for another day and give them. They were not going to figure it out because they were just sending me back with the papers. So just coming back home and figuring it out, that's why I called Abbott, and they were the best, I do have to say. So for me, this was very important. Yeah, because I was getting the low glucose alerts, right? So always, what I suggest people, if you're diabetic, if you're gonna be on Mounjaro, and you talk to your doctor, like I'm with a diabetes specialist, so I don't know if any doctor would think to say, hey, you need the continuous glucose monitor along with Mounjaro. But she for sure did come to that on her own, right? She was the one who told me that that's the way we're going to do it, just to make sure that we don't have any episodes and that we have the alarms, because you might be sleeping and you don't feel it, because that's the part where it's dangerous. Going to bed and having a low glycemic episode, that is when you want this alarm on your phone to wake you up, because the sensor is connected to an app on your phone, so that you can take action on that. Okay, so what I suggest, or at least what I am going to do for myself, and you should talk to your doctor about doing for yourself as well, if you feel that this makes sense to you, is always having an extra one with me, because these things are very well adhered, but you can bump it out. It took her a while to get the old one out of my arm, so they don't easily come out. But let's say you were in the beach, you were in the water for too long, you were in the hot tub or whatever, right? And maybe it got a little, like the adhesive got a little loose, and you bump it with something, it comes out. You want to be able to put another one in, so that you can monitor your glucose levels, especially at night. Okay, that's it. I will leave the link down below to this webpage, and I'm looking at it again. I'm not going to read it again, but you should be able to find it with what I gave you with a Google search. But if not, then I'll leave the link down below for those of you that want to go ahead and talk to your doctor to see if they can send a prescription over to your pharmacy. And yeah, then you'll go to your pharmacy with the coupon, and hopefully with the information that I'm giving you, you'll be able to tell them exactly what to do if you run into the issue that I run into initially, which was it's not going through. And also know that the Abbott team is the best, and they're going to take care of you, and they're going to help you figure it out in case what I'm telling you doesn't help you. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, if you find it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And I do want to do a disclaimer that, like, I'm just not trying to put the pharmacy down or anything, but I'm just trying to give you guys a tool. So yeah, in a nutshell, the pharmacies are dealing with people that have medical needs, and I feel that these chains are really having an issue with the personnel that they're hiring, which might be due to an issue of how they're hiring them and what they're paying them to begin with, right? So if you are paying well, you will find people that are qualified and that do a great job. But I guess you get what you pay for, right? So if you're not really paying well, or you're not taking the time to train your people well, then this is what happens. And you are dealing with people that have medical needs. So this is kind of like a call for me, for all pharmacies and you know, healthcare institutions to always be very mindful of the patient, and also for people not to go off on the employees, right? I never raised my voice. I was never mean, but I did tell him I don't think it's fair for me to wait back in the back of the line when I've been here for quite some time, you know, just waiting for this to get resolved. So yeah, speaking up nicely, right, is what it's all about. I feel that as a society, we've either learned to stay quiet and put up with it, or just go off on people in a bad way, which doesn't get us anywhere. It just gets everybody mad, including myself, which I shouldn't be getting mad, right? It affects my blood sugar. So I try to stay level as much as possible, but also with dignity and knowing what my rights value and you know, and where I stand in life, right? Because there are things that are reasonable and others that are not. But if you convince me that it's reasonable, I'm not an unreasonable person and I can reason with you. Maybe I think something is reasonable, and then you talk to me and I'm like, oh, you know what, actually you're right, or yes, oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake because I assumed this, right? So any of that can happen. Okay, so again, like button, subscribe, all that. Leave me a comment down below, and I look forward to see you guys again, or just, you know, seeing you guys subscribe to my channel and know that you're following this journey with me, that hopefully it's helping you and it's helping me also stay accountable on this path, that this new path that I'm walking on. Thank you guys. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.